A radio talk show host in Pennsylvania has apparently just recently quit his job after being told by management that he is not allowed to criticize Donald Trump. He put out this statement. This is Bruce Bond, who said, "I really hated to quit my very fun and honest show, but under these rules, I could not continue being honest to my fans and listeners. I'm sorry that there is this really ugly political environment in this country with the current president. Unfortunately, Central PA can't handle someone as liberal and brutally honest as I can be quite often. Thanks for understanding my side of the story." But let's bring up the letter, the email I should say, that was sent to him that apparently triggered this. See there, this is to serve as notice that it is not permissible on WTPA airwaves to talk disrespectfully of the president. Right. I've received backlash in the form of emails, phone calls, and such. There's threats of boycotts, and finishes by saying, "This cannot continue to happen. I've asked previously to cease political discussion. If this cannot be achieved," spelled incorrectly, "we will have no choice but to discontinue the show," coming from the VP and general manager of that particular network.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. I worked in radio a little bit, and in fact, we're back on Sirius Satellite Radio now. You should check us out there.
Are we allowed to criticize Donald Trump?
I'm pretty sure we are. God bless Sirius. And when we were allowed to criticize anyone we liked when we started on Sirius 15 years ago. So, but in my times in radio, we were also syndicated for a while, and it was really hard to get on in stations. And most of them wouldn't tell you, but we did have an honest program director in Minnesota who told us. He said, "Look, almost every station back then was conservative talk. So if I put you on, the rest of the audience is going to be pissed because all the other shows are conservative.
Then they should listen to this."
Right, and I said, "So are there any progressive channels in Minnesota in your market?" "Nope." He's like, "Look, man, I don't think there's that many progressive channels, period, anywhere in the country." And at the time there wasn't. Later the Air America came out. That's how old we are. Anyway, so if you're at WTPA and you wanna be honest, but you're on the left, you're gonna be out of luck and apparently out of a job.
Yeah.
And it's funny the different worlds that we live in. Because in LA, if you're not disrespectful of the president, you'll be shunned.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, how dare you criticize Donald Trump? He's so beloved here."
Yeah.
What? It's amazing.
In the bathroom, we have a classical music station on. They call Trump an a-hole. I'm kidding, that didn't actually happen. But yeah, they're very rough towards the president. Yeah, so look, I reached for a comment that general manager said, "I'll make this clear and concise. Bruce resigned. We've accepted his resignation and we wish him well." That's basically my comment on Bruce. Trying to avoid some problems there. But what's interesting is it's entirely possible that this Tim fellow was the reason for that letter, but it could potentially go even higher up than that. Philly.com reported that WTPA owner Pat Garrett is an unabashed Trump loyalist who apparently even wrote a song backing the Republican during last year's campaign, which sounds ridiculous. So of course we had to go and find that song, and we're gonna play it a little bit for you right now.
I'm voting for Donald for president. He is our country's friend. I'm voting for Donald for president. He'll make America great again.
What? You know the old saying about Pennsylvania, in between Philly and Pittsburgh, there's Alabama.
Yeah, nothing against Alabama, the nice parts of it. But yeah, so a guy who loves Donald Trump so much that he is willing to write and then record and then release what you just listened to, that's a zealot. And it's possible that he's putting a lot of pressure on the managers at his networks.
Of course, I'm out for Donald Trump. What did you say about Donald Trump? But look, again, to be fair to the right here, it's not like it doesn't happen on the left. Because when I was at MSNBC, they were not happy when I was disrespectful to the president back when we had a Democratic president. So one instance was when Obama gave a speech about the Egyptian revolution, and right afterwards I said, "Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you." And I said that he was playing both sides. He had complimented Mubarak and the protesters, which made no sense. And I got a stern talking to by a lot of people at the company about how that was disrespectful to the president. Because they said, "Oh, well, you said it right after his speech." I was like, "Would it be more respectful if I said it a week later?"
You're supposed to wait a year.
Yeah. So they're not the only ones guilty of it, but in this case, it is a conservative apparently. That's trying to. That kind of partly misunderstands the point of the First Amendment, especially because we also have freedom of the press in the First Amendment. But look, it is his station. He does get to do what he wants with it. So he's not the government, and hence the First Amendment is a concept to him. It doesn't apply to him.
Exactly.
Right? And so it is what it is. So if you're in that neck of the woods, WTPA, if you're Trump and only Trump guy, I guess it makes sense. If you believe that you should have diverse opinions, that is not the station for you.
Yeah, and really fast, what this made me remember is that this is not a one-time thing. God only knows what older problems he might have had with that network. This could have been a long-running thing that finally culminated in leaving. I remember we talked about, there was a conservative radio host, I think, who said it's clear that the audience wants 100% loyalty to Donald Trump. I consider myself a conservative, but I don't like Donald Trump and I will criticize him, and it led to him stopping his show. It was either radio or online. But the amount of intolerance, like we like to imagine that people are getting more and more open-minded. Everybody says that. Everybody says that they're critical thinkers and they like their views being challenged. They like diverse opinions, but a lot of people want to hear exactly what they believe without straying an inch from that. And it can affect you whether you're a liberal like this guy trying to appeal to conservatives or a conservative trying to appeal to conservatives.
When people say they like critical thinkers who challenge other people's ideas, they mean your ideas, not my ideas. We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazil story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. TYTnetwork.com/join.